from the Adult Swim pop-up studio on fashionable Canal Street in Lower Manhattan. I'm Matt Harrigan with the Adult Swim podcast. Today I'm talking with the guy behind a lot of great Adult Swim cartoons like Superjail, Ballmastrz 9009, Christy Karacas.
Bite my tongue when I eat a lot because I'm so excited I eat too fast.
You cook for yourself?
Yes.
Every night?
Not every night. When I get busy, sometimes I don't because you're lazy, you don't want to clean up. But I try to.
What's your go-to?
You know what I've been doing lately is I chop up a ton of spinach in a bowl and I make like a salad. But I put this is gonna sound weird, but it tastes really good. But I always have like blueberries or some kind of berry. I chop up banana, nuts, mixed nuts.
Yeah.
What do I put in with it? And then usually I fry a couple eggs and throw it on top.
That does sound weird. You're
then
right.
I usually use something like a pear or an apple, and I just put that, but a big bowl like this, but you're totally full. I eat that in the summer a lot.
Fruit and eggs.
Yeah, it sounds weird,
It does.
but like the salty and the sweet taste super good. Like, but it sounds so bizarre. I was with my friends, like, try this. It tastes really good. The banana, it's sweet, but like egg and all that. Oh, it's really good.
Eggs with bananas and blueberries.
Yeah.
And spinach.
Tons of spinach, raw spinach.
Wow.
It's
really healthy. You look like you're in pretty good shape.
I stopped drinking for almost 200 days, but then I started again, as you know. And
200 days.
Something like that.
Uh-huh.
And then, but then I started exercising again. You walk and run a lot here.
Do you count the days like?
I did when I was doing it. I was me and my friend did it together. My friend Mike Carlo, who does
Is it a court order or a personal challenge?
Personal challenge. Improve my. I'll tell you, we might do it again. I felt really positive. You just have so much energy. If I start drinking a lot, I get depressed. I know it's a depressant, but
so you got with your friend.
Me and my friend were like just both kind of going through a similar thing. Like, let's just go sober together. Because I had this other friend who did it. He had a friend who did it, and I had a friend who did it, and they were both pretty big drunks. And when I saw my friend, he's like, "Dude, I've been sober a year." I saw him in LA. I was like, "I can't believe it." He looked like he de-aged 10 years. I'm not even joking. And he was really happy, and he was so psyched. I was like, "Crap, you're kind of inspiring me to try this." I always talk about it, I never do it, and we did it. It was fun.
Why had you decide to stop at 200? Was 200 your goal?
No, I was trying to do it for 1 year, but then I was at this animation festival called Glass in Berkeley, and it's kind of like when I see you guys. It's like you see people once a year, twice a year. It's like, I want to party with these guys. I see them once a year, and I was in the festival, and I was just feeling really good. And then I kind of was like, I'll just drink at the festival. And then when I got back, once in a while, but much less than before.
You broke the seal.
Yeah.
What do you drink?
What don't I drink? I don't know. It's funny. I was drinking, I don't know, whiskey and tequila, I guess. But I stopped drinking beer for a while. But in the summer, man, a cold beer, I love it. But
you look healthy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I probably drink maybe once a week now. Maybe I don't count it, but I try not to. Again, special occasions, Yeah. It used to just be every night. Like, oh, I'm home. I'll have it was too much. We're too old for that nonsense. But also, when I'm busy, when I'm in production of the show and everything, this was another big thing. I'm a really high energy, stressed dude. I get stressed, and I used to think that when you're stressed, like, well, can I swear on this? I don't want to.
Yeah.
You'd be like, fuck it, I'm gonna have a drink, and that just makes you more stressed. I found when you're stressed, just whatever the stress is, figure out what it is, deal with it. And then you're not stressed anymore. And it sounds so dumb to learn this at like age 40 something, but like, I just feel like just a lot more chilled out these days than I used to be.
Do you feel your mortality approaching, impending?
Yeah, a little bit.
How do you think you'll die? Do you think?
How old?
How do you think you'll die?
Heart attack.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your choice if you have a choice?
It's funny. I know this is horrible. Everyone wants to just die in their sleep so they don't know, but it might kind of be cool to die in some crazy way. Like, well, the airplane's going down. I guess I got to be in a plane crash. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want that, but
yeah.
Oh, I know. I wanted to, probably be cool to die from some really insane sex.
Right.
That would be so bad.
Heart explodes.
Yeah. I would like that to happen.
I think about a lot of your cartoons, and they're very some violent deaths in it.
Everyone always asks me that, and I think part of it is this massive fear. I used to be terrified of I don't want to think about it, but lately I don't care anymore. But that death stuff is more for the visual gags. I mean, it really is a vehicle to be funny. Like, how many ways can you creatively kill somebody? I know that sounds dumb, but I swear to God, like sometimes when people are really turned off by the violence of that stuff, I'm always surprised, because when I watch like Superjail, it just is so stupid to me. It's like, these super fake kind of, muscle guys drawn bad, dying. It's like, even though when we used to draw the show and draw guys with tattoos all over their faces, there weren't actual people with tattoos all over their faces yet. Now there is.
So you started that.
I don't know if we started it. I mean, I don't know if Mike Tyson had done it already, but like I see normal people with tattoos on their faces these days, and like a lot of famous I don't know, rappers and people have them and stuff now, but like people really have them. I mean,
have you gotten some standards and practices notes over the years?
Mm-hmm.
What do they typically?
I'll tell you,
say?
This is what's so funny. They're way more sensitive about religion and stuff like children. Like, not the violence. Like, we'll like eviscerate a guy. Like, we'll do all this stuff, and usually we can get around it. Like, they'll be like, "Oh, can you tone it down?" I'll be like, "How about we color it not realistic?" But the show isn't colored realistic, so it matches the world. So like, I'll go, "We'll make the guts pink and yellow," and they go, "Oh yeah, that's fine," because it sounds. But when you see it drawn, it still looks gross. But I remember a really crazy one. It was like a jailbot was getting jackknifed in a church. And there was like a Jesus on a cross, and we wanted to have like the face turn in. Jailbot was, pretending he was Jesus. So he was going to rip himself off the cross and jump down and beat, Jesus was going to beat up Jackknife. And they were like, "Oh, you cannot show Jesus ripping himself off a cross." And we were like, "Okay, and then we were like, well, we'll just show the ground, and we see the nails, the bloody nails, like dink, dink, they fall on the ground. And then his feet, like he lands, and yeah, that's fine." I'm like, what is the difference? But then when he beats him up, the joke is that he nails Jackknife to the cross. But so we could show Jesus nailing someone else to the cross, but not freeing himself off the cross. That just seemed weird to me. I'm surprised they weren't like, "No, you can't do any of this. Like, stop."
So they were letting you do some of it.
Yeah.
Do you think they had conversations amongst themselves? Like,
I don't know how they even decide what's acceptable or not. I mean, there's not a rule book.
Yeah, it sounds
like who's like,
hard job.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, and it's got to change over time.
I mean, if you want to get away with something and you're worried, make a red herring and make it so crazy that they have to note it. And then when you tone it down, it'll be what you originally wanted anyways. So like for Alice, Alice in Superjail had like a bulge, and we were kind of worried, like, man, I wonder if they're going to let us do this bulge. And this one guy on the show was like, sometimes people would draw like a huge dick, like a big, and I was like, don't ever draw a dick. Like, I don't want to ever see a dick. It should be just a funny bulge. And he's like, no, we got to make it really, this guy actually said this. He's like, we got to make it crazy. So they tell us we can't. And it worked. They were like, we drew this really big boner, and they were like, you can never do that. And we were like, well, they wanted us to get rid of the bulge. We were like, can we just make it as long as it's not recognizable as anything realistic? And they were like, yeah, sure. So now it's funnier because it's just, you're like, what is under there?
So you go hardcore, expecting to be dialed
from
back.
1 to 10, go to 100, and then they'll dial you back to 9.
Why do you think you want to do that? Why do you want to why do you want to have it be so shocking?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it's shocking at all. I think they think it's shocking. So I'm just like, it's a cartoon. It's supposed to be funny.
Are you into shocking them though?
Not really. You think this? I don't like. I told you this. Like, I'm kind of a nervous dude. Like, I don't like that shocky humor. Like, those people that are always on and they're like, blah, blah, and they make you all nervous all the time. I don't really like that. Surprisingly.
Yeah, you're pretty high energy.
I'm high energy, but I don't think I'm trying to offend or shock anyone. I just want to have fun and be psyched.
So why do you think you make cartoons then?
Well, I used to want to do live action, but the reason I did cartoons was because in school, like when you do live action, you got to work with people. Like you need the guy to hold the lights and the microphone and the actor. You got to depend on all these other people, which you do with animation as well. But like when I started doing it, I mean, you can do it alone in your room. So you can just do whatever you want and you don't have to work with other people. So I don't know, it just was, I mean, I always like to draw cartoons and stuff,
It's much more of a personal medium. You can do more.
I don't know if it's do more. It's just you can do it without, you don't need to rely on things. Like say you want to do a shoot, but then the guy doesn't show up, or say the person doesn't want to do what you want in your head. And again, I think I used to get a lot of anxiety about working with other people and having to be like, you got to kind of, what's the word? Like, I still want to do live action sometimes and I think I'm a little more comfortable with people, but you know what I mean? You got to kind of, don't get me wrong. Every show we've done is a massive collaborative effort and everybody adds so much to it. Sometimes I don't even feel like I made this stuff. I feel like other people made it.
Have you done a lot of live action? Any live action stuff?
Not really. In college maybe, but just little things.
What's your background?
From school, you mean?
Yeah.
I went to RISD, to Rhode Island School of Design. And, it's like an art school, but did animation and film.
So you drew a lot on your notebooks and stuff in school?
Yep. Always.
Did you almost go into something different? Like when you were in high school, you thought maybe I'd be a...
No, I always thought I'd do something with drawing, art. Or something. I used to draw when I was a kid. My mom used to buy... This is funny. You know those brown bags you used to get at the grocery store? My mom would stop buying paper because she's like, you go through too much paper. I can't afford it. I'm not buying all this paper. So we'd rip the grocery bags. We'd get those bags like that and we'd split them down the sides and make them long. And we'd draw these big wars and stuff. My brother's a year younger. We used to always draw together. He still is creative and stuff, but he didn't do animation. Well, he does a little bit. But she saved a ton of it and they're really funny to look at. They're on my Instagram.
She saved them?
Saved a lot of them.
That's nice.
It's stacks. They're the funny. The funniest fucking thing. So much of it is current now. It's like Iron Man, Captain America. It says it's really funny what we were drawing. A lot of Star Wars.
It's on your Instagram.
I put a bunch up when the new Star Wars came out a while back. That Force Awakens. I'd happened to go home and my mom was like, "Look what I found," and we put them. Yeah, if you go to my Instagram, it's funny. I quit Instagram too, which I found really nice. And I just rejoined it to promote the thing the other day.
Oh.
But I sort of I don't like checking it all the time.
Are you on social media a lot?
No. I kind of hate social media, but I also feel like I'm dumb if I don't do it. Like it's bad for me to not do it.
That's how people communicate these days?
Kind of, yeah. Like everyone's like, you don't have Instagram? You're crazy. It's so bad for your career. I'm like, I don't know if it's helping my career at all. Seems like it's just posting fucking, being a vain and being like, look at me. I'm having such a fun time.
Uh-huh. What's RISD like?
RISD was awesome, man. It was a bit of a culture shock for me because I'm from New Hampshire. Both my parents are public school teachers. I'm very, normal, I thought. And then when I got there, it's a pretty fancy place. It was a lot of, rich kids and, it was the freshman year was a culture shock a little bit for me. But then I loved it and everyone there was great.
So you were a child of public school teachers. How'd you afford RISD?
Scholarships, and they just saved. I think they really knew.
Yeah.
They were really cool. I think they were like, he has a talent. The funny thing is, this is so sad, I don't know how we knew about. I think my dad's friend told him about RISD, and then my art teacher in high school told us about it. And I remember your parents think, you're going to go to one of the biggest top art schools, and then you go there and then you see the shit people make. It's kind of like at the, when they see like abstracts of the museum, my mom will say something like, I can't believe some of that stuff's hanging up there. It's just scribbles.
How did you feel about it?
I kind of agree with her sometimes. I don't know. I think some of that stuff, I get like modernist stuff, but I don't know. I shouldn't say this here, but I think a lot of art is fucking bullshit. I think, especially in New York, these galleries, it's money. It's basically a big club of rich people making money. Art is the one thing you don't need a bill of sale to sell. Like I have a really smart art friends because a lot of my friends actually do art, like, real fine art. Art, like if you sell a car or a house or certain things, big money items, you need a bill of sale. You don't need a bill of sale or like a record for art. It's not legally, you don't.
Is that to track like taxes?
I think it's some shady thing that they just somehow kept shady forever. Like, I don't think, because I think how do I say this? I remember thinking this in school and in high school, because you think like, how does something get recognized as art or it's going to be big? And you're like, well, it must be the best thing.
Yeah.
But who decides who's the best thing? And then you say, oh, I don't know. Because when you're naive, you just think the world works how it's supposed to work. And then you realize, no, the world is just people making things work. I don't know how to say it, but again, when I go to a lot of these galleries, it's just so political. And you could say the same thing about this. Some people might be like, oh, they love him. They give him whatever show he wants. But, I don't know how the world works. But the art thing just gets weird because I think the other thing is with a show, a lot of my friends do art. That's why I'm saying this. But with the show, you know, you can say it's your art, and there's some level of, yes, this is art I make, but at the same time, it's a commodity. You're getting paid to do it. You take notes. It becomes the property of the network. It's a commodity. It's not art. Art is when you really make whatever you want with zero. You know, you make a short film like Bar Fight. You could say is art because no one gave me any rules or notes. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, and you start seeing like, you know, when I got here, you go to all the openings and everyone's going to the openings, and then people are kind of jockeying to get in with the gallery because they really, I got a show there, and people are you're kind of selling yourself and branding yourself. Whereas I might sell myself as he's Christy, the crazy guy that makes Superjail, but an artist, you're being like, I'm Christy Karacas, the artist. And there's something strange because I'd see people, they kind of not be themselves, but then when we're out of the gallery, everything's normal again. I was like, kind of acting weird in there. But I don't know. It just seemed weird to see it. So I don't know. I hope.
Do you feel like you're an artist?
I don't know. I mean, I love doing. I love going to these animation festivals like Ottawa Animation Festival, and I just was at Annecy and Glass. That's where there's not really a market for short films. There is a little market, like a festival circuit or something. And you guys show stuff like you and Dave, but you know that's what's funny about this world is a lot of stuff that can't exist if there's not a monetary thing. Who's going to make it? Some weirdo that's going to make their films and be broke. I mean, that's an artist really. And it's there's a noble side to it, I guess, or something. But anyways, I love that kind of stuff.
Can you be an artist and make money, I guess is what you're saying.
I think you can. I'm not trying to make any big statement. I don't even know how I got talking like this. I think older you get too, you just kind of go like, I don't know. You just see through a lot of the bullshit the older you get, you know?
Have you made shows for other networks besides Adult Swim?
Not really. I mean, when I started, when I met you, we did, worked at MTV. I've never made another show. I've worked on other shows. Like I've boarded pilot. I mean, I did Cartoon Network. That's almost Adult Swim. Yeah. Still Turner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did some jobs for Nickelodeon. I did some music videos.
Is your experience similar?
It's all different. I mean, I think Adult Swim is great and it fit in because, you know, the tone and everything and who's there. But, well, Nickelodeon, I'll say it, fuck it. Like, places like Nickelodeon kind of suck because they're so more corporate. You're getting notes from like a million people. And I think things kind of get stuck in a, what do you call it? Like a
circle of death?
Yeah, like I did a pilot there once. I can't remember not a pilot. I didn't write it. Someone else wrote it and I storyboarded it, right? And I'm dealing with kind of one person, but then I'm getting notes, this list of notes from like 3 people through this person. And you're kind of like, well, what's note am I supposed to do? What is this thing supposed to be? Like, and sometimes maybe that works, but I don't think it usually works. And then the funny thing was I did the revisions. I don't think I heard back from them for like 4 months. It's like, it takes you guys 4 months to decide what you even think about that. Like nothing's going to get made in that way. I mean, I guess I think though with a big place like that, they want like a SpongeBob, they want a hit. So they probably have like 20 or 30 things like that and they'll pick the 1 or 2 to maybe go with. So maybe that's how they do it. I don't know.
So who do you admire? What other shows or creators or what do you like?
Is it bad? I feel like I really like a lot of my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I love bad.
What's that?
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I love those Mr. Pickles dudes. I think they're amazing. I think they're really smart, funny, and they're nice. You know, it's hard for me if I meet someone whose stuff I like and they're a dick, it's hard for me to like it anymore. I'm like a weird like that.
That's happened to you, I guess. I'm not asking you to name names, but you've met people who you like their stuff. I don't know if
it's really happened, but I think that's happened more with like maybe like music, like bands or something. Like I used to be in a band. You meet all these bands and they're like, you know, you meet some asshole. They're like, think they're so cool. And you're like, screw you. I hate you. Can't listen to your music anymore.
Are you in a band now?
No, I wish.
Been in a few bands.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss it. It's funny. I love music.
Why aren't you in a band now?
Too old. I don't have to. I mean, I can't even hardly do the show. This show. I mean, I sleep at the studio once a week.
Why?
It's too full. So much work.
What's the work? What do you have to do? Like, what makes you have to stay there?
Well, as you know, I mean, I don't. Is this podcast for you or for Adult Swim?
It's for Adult Swim.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's for me too. I mean,
I think that I wish the
you.
budgets were slightly bigger at Adult Swim, because I think sometimes the model of Adult Swim is probably kind of cheap, cheap end of some of these things. But I mean, if you see Ballmastrz and Superjail, I mean, it's super fucking labor intensive. That's what's funny about like Superjail. It looks like it would be easy because it looks kind of like it's drawn bad, but it's so fucking hard to get that look in the computer. I mean, we used to have to do this thing with Flash. We used to have to do these trace backs so the line weight is always the same, and it's tons of just tracing. And I mean, it's pretty hand drawn. But yeah, like with Ballmastrz too. Like, I mean, in New York, I hate to say this, but like, there's so much great talent in New York, but because there's not as much work here, sometimes it's a little greener. And it's just hard. It's just a lot of work. I mean, keeping on tabs the boards to make sure it's funny. Like it's hard to find funny board artists in New York as opposed to LA, because there's just so much more of that kind of show being made in LA, I mean, I have great board artists right now, but sometimes it's just hard to find them, or to, it's hard to kind of shape the thing into what you want it to be too,
Why do you stay here in New York?
I might leave soon.
Why?
I love New York. I can't leave, but New York's really changed. I mean, I've been here 20 years, but when I moved here, I know this is probably, this is every city, I think. I think this is some kind of strange, again, I'm not smart, but like something's happening in the world that's not good right now. I mean, just money is just ruling everything. It's like, I think because things are, the internet and everything's connected, everyone knows about everything too quick, right?
Yeah.
So when rich people are like, hey, buy these apartments here. It's bargain. It's going to be the next big neighborhood. It's just like boom, boom, boom. It's happening in every city. I mean, it's happening in LA. Everyone I know is like, there's not cheap neighborhoods to live in anymore and make stuff. So like, if you're a young person and you want to make art or be in a band or something, where you got, unless you're rich, where are you going to go to do it? So you're getting a lot of these things. It's just rich people doing everything. So you got to go to somewhere like Detroit, or maybe I really think this thing right now is people might need to go to like smaller cities or smaller places. Because I mean, in New York, I mean, you can, I think, probably find something, but I mean, it's harder and harder and harder just to. The cost of living versus what you can make is just getting so insane. Like,
so where would you go?
Well, I might go to LA because of the work is there and it pays better. But I've thought of going to Providence, Rhode Island. Because I teach now at RISD. I teach animation, and for winter session. But I love it. I love that city. It's like there's a music scene, there's art, there's great, Johnson and Wales is there, a cooking school, so there's great restaurants, and it's on the water, it's close to the beach.
Do you feel like you have to be in a big city to do this?
My worry is I'm going to get bored. I don't know though, Providence I love and have good friends there, and I think there's a good scene. I think it would be cool to make something, just be part of something, make stuff happen there, but I think LA is where this industry is, so I'm kind of torn, like, do I go where, probably be good for my career to go to LA, but I love New York. It's going to be really hard to leave, but I find myself being bummed out about New York, and I don't like being negative and complaining, but I'm often like, like, I mean, even right now by my house, I mean, there's so many condos going up. I'm like, it's going to suck here in a year or two.
So what's the pain? What's the actual pain point? Is it the noise of the construction?
No, it's that you're going to get these douchey, bougie people, and it's so expensive to live there. Like, I just think you should be able to have a relatively cheap rent if you live in a city. And I want to live alone. I'm 44. I don't want a roommate. God. I had a roommate up to like a couple of years ago. It's pathetic.
Have you had good roommates?
Yeah, they've all been great.
You had no bad roommates?
Never.
Are you the bad roommate?
Yeah. Christy, you come home like that loud again.
What do they complain about you?
Okay, I'll be honest. I'm a great roommate. I'm so quiet. I'm so clean, and I cook. I mean, I'm a neat. You won't believe it. I'm a neat freak. I vacuum like almost every day. I like it real clean because I feel calm. I think I have ADD and OCD and all that shit. But I would, when I used to drink, come home and be a little loud sometimes, not knowing it. Like
banging pots and pans together.
Not being crazy with a party, but just kind of maybe stumbling in. Maybe this was not recent. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
My last roommate was a great dude, Edmund Hawkins. He's a good dude. I met him on Superjail season 1, and then now he went and he was working on Saturday Night Live, and he works with John and Vernon a lot. Oh, those guys! John and Vernon and Allison are really super smart. The smartest, maybe. Some of the smartest. JJ, I love Villard.
Yeah.
Glazer, of course. Everybody, Dave and Dana, you. I love all the Adult Swim people. It's kind of amazing.
How'd you get hooked up with Adult Swim?
Dave Hughes showed him Bar Fight.
Right. Right.
Dave Hughes.
I knew that.
I'm forgetting all these people I should admire. But again, I'm kind of, it's nice when, I'll tell you, it's nice when you meet these people and they're nice, good people. I mean, it's nice, Do
you feel like you're making stuff that's permanent in the world? That's timeless?
I'll tell you, I feel like I'm working on something that I think really animating this stuff is becoming just rarer and rarer and rarer. And I know there's always really good stuff. Like I saw, another guy, Gendy, I think is amazing. And I saw that new Primal. I saw the pilot and the first episode in Annecy. It's fucking amazing. It's fucking crazy. I loved it. But France, like that, is it Goblin? Goblins is a school? I always say the name wrong, but I mean, they're really good over there. I mean, that's some serious animation they're doing. And that new Looney Tunes I saw too.
What's that like?
It's fucking great. Both of those are really, I mean, on this high end of I guess what I was saying before is I always think like no one's animating anymore. Those two things are crazy animated. Like I was pretty blown away. I was impressed.
And Primal, no dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah.
International, timeless.
I was jealous. I pitched Superjail, no dialogue. They said, no way.
What was the idea?
I just thought I was like, let's try to do it where it was, because how Bar Fight, there's no talking. Do this show with no talking where you kind of would have to not figure it out, but there'd still be a story, but no talking. I think I was not confident about writing back then, which I still am not. But they said no, and I was like, well, can just the jackknife parts be no talking? And that's why those don't have talking. Because I like cartoons, I like animation. One of the reasons I do like it also is that anyone can watch it. If I watch some weird, do you remember that old? I think it's Italian. You see that thing La Linea, and there's like a line, and this guy's like, and he's like yelling. Like anyone can watch that and laugh and get it because there's no language, So it's cool,
And it's not said in time.
Yeah.
So it can be 50 years old or.
Yeah. I like that. I like that too. And you said, like, I like stuff where you're like, I can't tell if this is new or old, but it's cool, Do
you write your stuff?
Yeah. I mean, we have a writer's team, but.
How do you find people to write for you?
It's fucking hard, but, how did I meet Ad? So, okay, I'll tell you a funny one. When we were working on, I took a break between season 1 and 2 of Superjail to do this Cartoon Network show. And it was at the studio that was making Venture Brothers. And Chris McCulloch, who was kind of, I think he was our script supervisor for season 2, 3, and 4. No, just 2. I can't remember. But anyways, Chris was like, hey, there's this guy, Adam, that works on the show, and he really likes your show. He wants to write on it. And I think he kind of gets it. And we had a really hard time finding people to write Superjail scripts because they just kind of didn't get it. Like, and I'm not saying it's hard. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't mean it like they were bad writers at all, but I don't know. There was just a weird balance of how to do the visual and the situations or something. I don't know. It was just really hard. But this guy, I read the thing. I read the outlines. I'm like, these are perfect. They're great. Totally gets the show. 100%. So he wrote on it. And then Adam writes on Ballmastrz too now. And then for Ballmastrz, 2 of the writers I went to school with, they're more live action, guys, but that both like anime and like cartoons. Andrew Royland and this guy, Ben Cochio. Ben wrote that movie Between the Pines, the Ryan Gosling movie. And I write cartoons too, also. And then Scotty Landis, he wrote with the Workaholics guys. He wrote on season 1, but he was too busy because he wrote that movie Ma that just came out. But they all were just funny and like cartoons. And the writer's room, again, I've never been in a real writer's room. I guess we do our version of it, but I would love to sit in one of the writer's rooms for any of these shows, like Rick and Morty or your guys' shows or whatever, because like it's fun. We just shoot ideas around and you try to think of a funny thing and hit the beats. I don't know. But it's hard. 11 minutes is hard. It's so quick.
Do you like the 11-minute format?
I love it, but I with Ballmastrz, I would like to try 22, but they didn't want me to. But I found that we were squeezing too much in, and I thought I think we could do a better job with A and B stories and stuff. But I will say, at the same time, I'm kind of nervous because I would hate to make that switch and have it be boring. Because I know some other shows had done that, and I'd be like, I liked it better when it was 11. Metalocalypse did that, and I kind of like the 11s better personally. But 11's nice. It's like you watch it, it's fun.
No breaks.
Yeah, and it's quick. It's funny that Primal was 22 and it went by so fast. I was like, wow. You saw it, right?
Yeah.
I've only seen one. He said they get crazier.
I thought it was amazing.
I really was blown away. I mean, It was fucking awesome. I mean, it was exciting. It's exciting to be excited again. Because it's like, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but like, one thing about animation, I like stuff that's like talking heads. Like I miss Aqua Teen like crazy, to be honest. And I love those kind of shows, but to see something so visual with no talking, that's awesome. I mean, it's like, well, we've come full circle. We're talking about modernist painting. That's what animation is.
What old cartoons do you like?
I like Looney Tunes. I love old Sesame Street cartoons, like those weird things where it's like M and it's just like some M, and there's one where it's like I think it's like the Hubblies maybe or something. It's like don't bring an M to dinner. Have you seen that one? He's like they're real budget, like they're black and white with like one or two colors, and it's like this M and it's going and it's like eating everything, and the guy's like, I've never seen such a greedy M, and it's like really like it's all the stuff. You're like, I will never. He's like, never invite an M to dinner. It's really weird. It's on YouTube. It's funny.
Have you thought about making a kid show?
Yeah, always. I mean, in a way, Superjail's take out the violence. Looks like because I love Dr. Seuss. I mean, I grew up Maurice Sendak reading a lot of kids' books. I love those kind of, again, the big books with big visuals. I think that's sort of maybe influenced me. I don't know. No, I've really been trying to find. I'd love to do a kids show. I just haven't come up with a good idea yet. But it's weird because I feel like sometimes, like, I don't want to say there isn't a place for that in the modern world, but people want to see something like Trolls World Tour, like my, I have niece and nephew, and like my nephew, like, I love him, but like this, they'll just watch fucking anything, and it can just be like the Chipmunks or some shit. And you're like, oh my God, like the old Chipmunks are funny, but like, hey, Dave, stuff, and this stupid thing where you're like surfing or something, and you're just like, this is so stupid. I hate it. I hate that kind of new kid stuff. Fucking Trolls.
You watch with your niece and nephew and you get irritated?
I try to be open-minded. Like I like, I like the Minions. I actually liked the Minions movies. But even those, like, there's this level of, how do I say it? The modern humor, like, it's supposed to be for everyone, but it's like it's all cool. Like, it's always like, hey, we're cool. I don't know how to say it, but like, it's like Poochie from Simpsons or something. Like it's cool, but when you watch older stuff, there's a charming pureness that's not, it doesn't seem to be in new stuff. Does that make sense?
It's kind of trying hard to be something instead of being itself.
I don't know. Like they always want like the famous voice actor to be recognized. Like, it's like they want you to know it's that person.
How do you feel about casting celebrities as voice actors? Is that important?
I'll tell you, this is a weird thing. Like, I think it's important for a show to have ratings and the network and stuff, but I kind of don't love it because of that exact reason. Like, I think in, again, animation, like when you think of some show like, not Arch, I'm trying to think like, but like when you think of like when people say animation now, especially stuff like say on Fox or something like that, it's always like, starring this person and this person. And they just like, that show like Animals on HBO, it'll just be like these crappy drawings that hardly animated. And then it's like, hey, when I say the comedian, their voice. It's just so that it's more about the comedians. It's not about the animation. And it's not bad. That stuff can be funny. But like I want to hear a voice where I don't even know who the actor is. It's like when you think of a cartoon character, like you would think of Fred Flintstone's voice or Homer Simpson's voice. And even with us, like they were like, when we had guest voices, they were like, oh, you should, you get some, guest stars for the get viewership and all. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But like, you want to make a character and they have a voice, not, it's like, I'm trying to think of who to say as a famous person, but like, who's like a big, like, okay, like Ali Wong is really hot right now, right? So it's like, starring Ali Wong, and it's like this sassy robot or something. Like, but it's like, it's not like a character that's made up. It's just that person doing them. And I'm sure it's super funny. Nothing against her. I think she's actually really funny, but like, you know what I mean? It's
sort of built-in conflict because they're selling you on an existing character, but you're supposed to like the new character that they're playing.
Or again, like I love Amy Poehler. Like she's awesome. But like when you watch, actually, I really like, what was that one? Inside Out. I mean, I really like that movie. And her voice is actually awesome, but it's her. It's not like I'm making a new kind of weird voice because like they don't want you to not know it's not her.
Yeah,
it isn't her. You know what I mean? Because we use a lot of, like I use a lot of voices a lot that aren't, maybe they're, them if you know the animation world, but that are amazing. Like Eric, do you know Eric Bauza? Like he's this amazing voice. He's doing a lot of the Looney Tunes voices. He does like some voices in Ballmastrz, and this guy can do any voice. He's like a modern, he lives in LA. He's a professional voice guy. I think he does voices on Ninja Turtle. He does all these shows, but I mean, you meet this dude and he can do any voice. It's impressive. I mean, it's pretty wild.
Turn the listeners on to something.
Jeez, I don't know. I've been obsessed. I don't know if there's anything I'm going to know that they don't know, but I've been obsessed with True Detective lately. I watched season 3 and I've been rewatching. I think we talked about that already. Well, you know what's rad? Did you ever see the Russian Winnie the Poohs?
No.
There's these Russian Winnie the Poohs because, Russia and Europe, Eastern Europe has a lot of rich, history of animation. They're really cool. They're really cute. They look like folk art. They're fucking crazy. And Winnie the Pooh they're not subtitled. They're just in Russian, but they're fun to watch. They're on YouTube. I like watching those. I'm really into, I love Ty Segall. I never know how to say his name. You know that guy?
Yeah. I don't know how to say it either.
I met him and he was a Superjail fan.
Oh, no
My friend knows him. He goes, this Christy. He goes, dude, I love Superjail. And I was like, dude, I love your shit. I like that guy. I think that guy's like crazy, always coming out with new stuff. I'll turn you on to something. I don't know. It's funny. I'm so busy when I'm in production that when I go home, all I want to do is either like cook, sleep, or just like detach kind of.
Yeah. Make that spinach berry egg salad.
Yeah.
What are you going to do today?
I think I'm making fondue tonight with my friend.
What's next? Are you going to leave here and go to work?
Yes.
What do you have to do today?
I have to work on the show I can't talk about that's happening.
What, specifically, what does that mean today for you?
Today we're trying to lock an animatic for an episode. I still haven't finished the mix. I might go over there and finish the mix. We're 8 minutes into an 11-minute episode.
What does that mean to lock an animatic?
Lock an animatic is so when you make the storyboards, we go straight to animatic, which means we time the drawings and we have, the voice, the radio play is in there, meaning the characters are talking and, we want to lock it, like get it to time. And when it's locked, the production numbers all the scenes so they can assign the scenes to background design, character layout, animation, because we can't really assign everything until it's locked because they need to the way they have to number everything and keep there's like these programs that keep, how do I say it, like the progress of the production so we don't go over budget or over schedule. So we can look at a thing and say, okay, we've got there's 25 more backgrounds that need to be done before they can go to layout or something, or there's this much of it is animated. We need to finish it and deliver it.
So that's today.
Yeah, and we're actually, I think I'm schedule wise we're behind, but I know we're going to catch up. But I think I'm going to work this weekend to catch up. It's so. I mean, again, I'm not complaining. It's the funnest job I ever did, but it's a lot of work. And the older I get, it's getting harder. I hate to say that. I have a lot of energy, but Jesus, I used to have more energy.
You've been working hard.
Yeah.
Making great stuff.
I'll tell you, this new thing is coming out really good. I got to say, it's not, the crew is amazing. Titmouse has been amazing. Adult Swim's been amazing. I mean, dude, Lazo and Walter, all good notes.
When will we see this new thing that we don't know about?
I have no idea. I think maybe the fall, maybe October. We're done in October, so maybe by the fall. I think they might be announcing it. I heard a rumor in July at some anime expo. A rumor, though. That's a rumor.
Maybe they'll hear it on this podcast.
And they didn't tell me. I heard it through someone else. So that was kind of, thanks, Adult Swim. Just kidding. I heard it through Ben, through Titmouse.
Does the network drive you nuts sometimes?
No, I got to say, I love this network. I love working here. It's cool. It's very cool. It's pretty cool. When you tell people you work at Adult Swim, they go, Adult Swim. They really get psyched, especially young people. So I feel young,
Yeah.
Old people don't know what it is. They go, Adult Swim? What's that?
It's like a porn channel.
Yeah. I go, Cartoon Network? It's Cartoon Network at night. like, oh, I know that.
It's nice to have to explain everything all the time.
I can't tell. That means you're cool. If they knew what it was, it wouldn't be cool, right?
Yeah. Christy Karacas, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Music from this episode, a song called Living in America from the album Sunbronze Greek Gods by Dom. Be sure to visit adultswim.com/podcast for links to some of the things Christy and I were just talking about. We'd love to hear from you, adultswimpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks to you for listening. Thanks to Christy Karacas.